Uh, um, shit. I silently cursed to myself. I can't just bite him and change him just like that. There needs to be some kind of procedure. I think Kathy was about to tell me how it's supposed to be done. Because I have bitten Kokichi before. That much is true. But that doesn't mean I know how to change him into a vampire.
Shu?
He asked, poking my cheek. I looked back at him and my face inflamed. I couldn't even think or gather my thoughts, much less compose myself. I tried my best to focus on his eyes, but even then I felt so embarrassed about what we were going to have to talk about. Sure, we aren't having sex or anything like that, but this kind of intimate display makes me flustered even just thinking about it. Sorry, I think we should bring it up with Kathy first, I said, hearing my voice get softer as I spoke. Kokichi blinked before he moved closer to me again. His body was in my arms while his arms were against my chest. He moved so his face was on the pillow next to mine once again. Except this time I couldn't focus on anything because of how his warm breath was hitting my lips.
Are you scared?
He asked, sounding a little more serious than before. I put my shoulders back and straightened my back a bit. I nervously swallowed before I gave him an answer. Yeah. I looked to the side, feeling my embarrassment coming back. It didn't leave me before or anything. I just felt even more embarrassed than before, if that is even possible at this point. I've never felt so nervous in my life.
It's okay, Shuichi. I won't judge you or anything.
He said with a small laugh under his breath. The soft sound of his laugh made me relax a bit.
And if you're worried about hurting me or whatever, you've bitten me before, and I already have a high pain tolerance, so anything you do to me, I trust you.
He said. He looked me right in the eyes when he said this, and I swear I saw his eyes look more stern for a moment. I felt a little shocked at how serious he sounded. Usually around others, he's always joking around or being sarcastic. It's almost unnerving how serious he's being about all of this. I almost caught myself wishing he would crack a joke or make some sort of sarcastic comment to lighten the mood. All he did was look at me, as if he was waiting for me to say something. But what should I say? I don't like being put in a situation where someone is waiting for me to respond to them. But it is Kokichi, so it doesn't feel as nerve-wracking as talking to the prince. Brandon. That is definitely going to take some time to get used to. I let my thoughts come back to Kokichi as I moved my hands to cup his cheeks. I didn't say anything as I moved his face towards mine, so our foreheads were touching. He hummed at this, but didn't say anything to me. I closed my eyes and let out a content sigh. It was quiet as the two of us just laid there together. The only sound I could hear was a faint wind from outside, as well as Kokichi's breathing. It was calming and slow, which made me feel more comfortable. My embarrassment soon faded, and I opened my eyes again and moved my hands down to his shoulders. "I'm honored that you trust me so much," I whispered, letting my words be the sound that soon faded into the quiet. Kokichi laughed under his breath before he added,
It's very interesting that you, Shuichi, were the first person I was able to open up to.
He said with the teasing tone back in his voice. And there it is. His eyes moved down to his hands while he smiled.
I mean, I've never even opened up to my own mother like this, much less Dice,
he said, before he slowly moved his eyes up to meet my own again. I blushed at the words he said. I'm really the only one he has trusted like this? I mean, sure, I'm quiet and don't like talking about myself much, but I opened up to Kyoko a couple of times, as she has done with me since we worked together. Which reminds me, did we even let Kyoko know that the vampire attacked Kokichi, trying to steal our bond?
But that doesn't matter now. I trust you, and that's what matters,
he said quietly, I slowly let my eyes close again, feeling happy being here with Kokichi. This was before there was a small knock at the door. Yes? I asked slowly, moving to go and get the door. I heard Kokichi sigh before I left the bed. I felt a little guilty for leaving, but there was someone at the door.
Ah, you are awake.
Kathy said after I opened the door. She had a smile on her face and a plate with some medicine and food on it. I was confused why she had these items, but before I could ask about it, she spoke.
I'm assuming you have both discussed Kokichi being transformed?
She asked, going to stand at the foot of the bed. Kokichi sat up in the bed as I moved to go and join him on the bed. Yes, we have, I started, before Kokichi added.
He said yes.
He said, making me frown a bit. It made it seem like I was being stubborn about this. But this is something serious. This is going to change his life forever. Does he not understand that?
Okay,
She said, taking a seat at the foot of the bed. She placed the things she had brought with her on the bed beside her before she looked over at the two of us.
There's a procedure for these kind of things. I mean, to do them correctly, of course.
She paused, slowly looking down at her hand.
The man who bit Shuichi didn't take these precautions and didn't transform him in the way it should be done. So this made his recovery longer. For Kokichi, I'm going to make sure it is a safe and painless transformation.
She said, making me feel a bit better about it. But what kind of procedure does she mean? Don't I just bite him and change him somehow?
Okay, first, Kokichi, I need you to lay down on the bed.
She motioned for me to move the covers off of him. I did just that, and I noticed Kokichi was shivering. I gently rubbed his arms to try and warm him up a bit. He smiled at me before Kathy continued.
Now, Shuichi, you're going to bite him as you usually would, except this time you're going to have to do the initial bite before pulling away and biting again to inject him with the venom.
She said, making me flinch a bit. We are going to do this now? I felt my body shiver. I can't do this.
Shu, it's going to be okay. Calm down.
Kokichi whispered, as he smiled up at me. I felt my face flush at this, but it didn't help the concern and fear building up in my chest.
It's alright, Shuichi. You're going to be okay.
Kathy said afterwards. I felt my body calm down a bit before she continued again.
After he is injected with the venom, you're going to break away before licking the wound. This is going to let the venom sit and start to move through him, so the transformation will start.
She said, as I grabbed Kokichi's hand. I'm so nervous. I know how much this can hurt. What if I mess up?
Shu,
Kokichi said again, making my thoughts stop for a moment.
it's okay to be scared.
I felt my shoulders drop at his words. I can do this.
Then after that, Kokichi is going to need some rest. After he wakes up, make sure to give him that food as well as some painkillers.
Kathy said before she left the room. I heard the door close as Kokichi kept his gaze on me.
Shuichi, look at me.
He said. I nervously moved my gaze to his eyes. He looked calm, and it made me feel a little more calm about this whole situation.
It's okay to be scared. Know that I'm a little scared as well. But I want you to do this so we can both be safe. I love you, and nothing can change that.
He said, gently moving his hand to the side of my face. I felt my cheeks heat up again before I moved on top of him. My legs were on either side of him as he lay beneath me. He wrapped his arms around my neck, and I flinched. Calm down, Shuichi. Kokichi wants this, and it's going to keep him safe. You can do this.